Did you know with your HPTuners interface that you could send data directly to a digital dash? Stick around and I'll show you how. Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage. In this video we're talking about using an MPVI interface from HPTuners to send data from the OBD2 port to something like an external dash. Now this feature is technically not supported yet, so if you reach out to HPTuners they're going to tell you no, this is for engineering testing. But I reported on this back at the beginning of the year, maybe the end of last year, and did a quick video on the CAN bus integration that has been added to the scanner. After talking to some of the guys, actually I talked to the president over at HPTuners, and he asked me, he goes, what's something you'd like to see? And I said, CAN bus integration through the scanner. He goes, it's in there. It's not fully fleshed out, which it isn't. And it doesn't look like anything's really been done to it lately, but I do have it working. And I know some people have been using it to send an RPM signal like over to their dyno, but a lot of people are not aware that it's something that they can do. Let me grab my interface here and you'll see I've got my USB cable. Then I've got this cable that I bought off of Amazon. And what it is it's that mil-spec 4-pin M8 connector, whatever the one that the Proface is. Oddly enough, for whatever reason, this does not work with the Proface. You have to hook directly into the interface. Let me get this thing hooked back up. You have to hook directly into the interface. And in fact, the 2 pins that would be at the bottom, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but if you're looking at the HPTuners logo down here, that's the bottom. The 2 pins at the bottom, the ones that are in the middle, I guess you would say, are the ones that the CAN bus is output on. This does not, it requires the Pro feature set as far as I know, which if you've got an MPVI 3, you've got it. So I got on Amazon, I'll throw a link down into the description, and I basically got a 6-foot long cable, and at the end of it, I just got Deutsch connectors. 2 wire, in this case, we're using an AEM CD5. Now, when it comes to digital displays, digital dashes, or anything like this that you're wanting to use, be aware that it has to have a fairly open, robust CAN bus setup. Like, this will not work with Holly. Holly is too closed off and won't let you do anything outside of their ecosystem. And so that's why I'm using the AEM CD5. And as you can see, the other downside, let me see if I can get this in focus, is that you have to be connected and scanning. Come on. You have to be connected to the vehicle with a laptop and scanning to get this to work. I'm hoping that this video brings to light that this is a feature, and the engineers over at HPTuners, there we go, we should be reading RPM, throttle position, and then we've got like EQ up here and coolant temp or something like that. But I'm hoping by shedding some light on this and maybe getting more people interested in it, that they will make this feature available, that whenever remote login's enabled, it will send the commands out to talk about this. But let's jump into the software so you can see what I'm talking about. And this requires a little bit of experimentation on your side because every system is different. But essentially, we got the scanner open here. Let's take a look at it. And if we come in here, whenever we're not data logging, go down to Channel Config Advanced Properties, we have CAN outputs. The inputs they've not done anything with. That's the one that I'm more interested in. But in the meantime, I thought, I should play around with this and figure it out. And so here's where we set up our CAN messaging. This is important, and I'll show you the other side of it, which I'm using dash design, obviously, because we're on an AEM. And this is the other side of the setup process. verify the port number. The baud rate for this is 1 megabits per second, even though the standard CAN bus communications that we're doing with the car is 500 kilobits per second. This is actually on 1 megabit per second, and that's one big thing. Now, the rest of it's fairly straightforward. We've got our IDs here, and each ID, as you can see, I've got split up into 2 messages. So ID 1 is going to be byte 0 through byte 3, and we are big Indian, which is our byte order, which means that we're actually starting at 24. So that's why it says 24 there. We're 32 because we're using 4 bytes per message. And if we go over and look at the HPTuner side of it, you can see here we are. Here's one. Oops. There's one. On our bus, I don't think we can change that. Well, external 0. Then this is our polling frequency, where it just default right now is 10 hertz. It says relay all inputs to external CAN 0 using single parameter frame format recording recommended. I've not had any need to check that on or off. I played around with it whenever I was figuring this out. But here you can see what we've got. Byte 0 through 3 is our engine RPM. Byte 4 through 7 is our EQ ratio. So if we kick back over to our dash, 0 through 3, pay attention to this side, we actually have it, oh, ignore the name. Originally I had it set to voltage. This is actually RPM. So if we were to go over to the design and look at, we're actually voltage there. But it is RPM, rest assured, on this side of it. But that's the first message. Our second message, in fact, I can change it right here, you know, keep it straight. Second one is TPS. And those are both on ID 001. We kick back over, ID 001, engine speed, EQ ratio. That's what we're sending out. I guess TPS is actually in the second one. Nonetheless, that gets the messaging set up. So we're sending speed, EQ ratio, coolant temp, and relative throttle position. So this would be EQ, TPS, and engine temp. Okay, that's electronic throttle control. Let's go engine coolant temp. There we go. So there we got our mappings on 1 and on 2, starting at 24 and 56. And so that fills up these 2 words, as we'll call them, that aligns with these 2 words. So something else to be aware of is scaling. So if I click on this, you'll see I've got 100 is the output scalar. And so that takes whatever the number is, multiplies it to 100 to get the whole number. And then on this side, I've got the scalar set to 0.01. This is where you have to play with stuff to get some formatting things. So like right now, the way it's set up on EQ ratio as a scalar 1, I'm reading 95. And if I come back over here and look at EQ ratio, I've got it multiplied by 100. So I'm going to take it back down to 1, and if I connect back up and start polling, I don't have enough digits for my EQ ratio to show up properly. So in that case, I would need to come in on my screen and actually change this out to have more digits. So here's our EQ, and we know it's going to be a decimal point and pound signs for numbers. No, I want point, pound. And let's make this bigger so it's easier to see on the screen. Here, just make this like 50. Okay, so let me plug in and upload this real quick. Where's my... So many cables! And my interface literally just fell out of the OBD2 port. There we go. Okay, so we'll push this change, upload, save. And our scaling is still off. So, as you can see now, we've got the bigger number, but it's still showing 0.00. So let's see what's going on here. See, what we should be seeing is 0.95. So let's try this. Output, double check our scaling here. We should be sending just a blank 1 or a single no scaling to the output. So let's check on our CAN bus, and our scaler is set to 1. So it should be coming in perfectly fine. That's interesting. So let's try this. Let's change our scaler to 100 and see if it shows up on our display. So we'll start logging again, and there we go. So now we've got a scaling issue. We've got our EQ ratio, it's reading in the 90s, but we've got a scaling issue because we've taken 100 to it. We have to come back over to our digital dash and do the same thing. 0.00 or 0.01 is going to be our scaler on that. So let me update the screen once again. And this, as I said, just part of the process. Whenever you're dealing with CAN bus, there's a lot of trial and error. And the idea that I always tell people is just try to get any data first, and then you can work on the formatting of the data. But now we're good. So if I look at it now, boom, there we go. 0.96, that's our EQ ratio. And obviously you could dress this up and put little graphs and bars and crap all over it, but you know that ain't my style. But listen, that's the CAN bus feature. I want you guys to dive into it. If you've got something that you can hook up remotely on CAN bus, try it out and let me know, or give me some ideas on things that you think that this CAN bus external output would be great for. So listen, I'm going to get back to it. You guys know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. Remember, ABT, always be tuning.